All right, so I spent so much time trying to kill everybody here in Vernworth. So by using this Eternal Wakestone, this should pop the Platinum Trophy for Dragon's Dogma 2. 102 souls will be restored. Damn, I killed so many people. Here we go. Platinum Trophy. Pew. Okay, never mind. Take 2. We're gonna do it outside the morgue. Let's see if this works. Platinum Trophy, please. 105 souls. Bam. The true Arisen I am.
Materials, eh?
Alright, so with the Platinum Trophy done, I feel like it's time for me to give a proper final thoughts on the game Dragon's Dogma 2. I ended my playthrough, at least on New Game Plus, with a total of 84 hours. And I gave Warrior, the Warrior Vocation, a shot. I mainly used it in New Game Plus, and I really enjoy it. It feels very strong. It's a much better vocation than the original Dragon's Dogma. Because that's actually the vocation I used for the base game of Dragon's Dogma. So, I just want to start off by saying that I enjoyed this game. I really liked it. I had a really good time playing this game. Now, obviously, there were some annoyances in the game, but overall, it was a very positive experience for me, and I liked it. So, let me just start off by saying the things that I really love about this game. First off, the character creator is amazing. One of the best character creators I've seen in a video game. You can make some really good looking characters, and I really like the way my character came out, like her face. I really like, look at that. Such a good face. The ears, the hair seems pretty good quality, and I've seen other people's characters. They made like handsome Squidward, or they made some celebrities. I think I've seen Pikachu. Like, there's some crazy characters. So the character creator, A+. Next, I would say the thing that I love the most is the pawns. When I played Dragon's Dogma for the first time at the end of last year, I was amazed at the pawn system because I've never seen anything like that in any other game. It was amazing. You can create your own pawns, make them look how you want them to look, give them armor, what vocation you want them to be, their personality, and they're gonna stick with you the whole game. But not only that, they're gonna be wandering around other players' worlds in the cities, and they can hire them and take them out. It's such an amazing concept, and it's still amazing in this game. I love pawns, man. I love the pawn system. Next, I would say the combat. The combat feels really good. Every vocation feels different. I gave a lot of vocations a shot. The only vocations that I didn't try was, I didn't really try Mystic Archer. I tried Trickster for like 5 minutes in New Game Plus, and I was like, no. But yeah, like, the combat is really good, and it's one of, I think, the selling points of the game. When you're fighting against like a Cyclops, a Troll, Ogre, right? It feels very good, depending what vocations you want. Like, if you want to be from range, if you have a great sword and you're hitting up close, every play style is unique, and it feels very good. It looks good. A+ for me. Also, the world is very beautiful. Now, obviously, I think that the way the game looks in relation to the performance might not be the best. I mean, there's better games out there, but I mean, it's still a beautiful world to look around. It's a beautiful setting. I love the setting. In fact, I love this like fantasy medieval setting. Where you have magic. Knights. I've always loved that. So all in all, I had a very good time playing this game. I enjoyed my 84 hours in game. But there are obviously some things that I found annoying. Some are going to be more minor than others. Now, the first thing I want to start off by saying is, some people, if you watch my playthrough, you probably know I am not like a big Itsuno fanboy, the director of Dragon's Dogma. I think there are a lot of things that I don't agree with his choices, his design choices, his vision of the game. I thought that he either doesn't respect the player's time or he doesn't give us enough freedom in the game. And some of my biggest annoyances in Dragon's Dogma 2 is the lack of quality of life. And Itsuno is just allergic to it. He doesn't want to give it to us. So the biggest thing, and this is probably going to be, you know, not a big deal for other people, but one of the big things for me is fast travel. The lack of unlimited fast travel and putting it behind expensive ferry stones that cost 10,000 gold. Now, in the beginning, the first like 10 hours of the game, it's not a big deal. You're still in the exploration phase. You're still looking around. Ooh, what's this area? Ooh, whoa. But when you're like 30 hours deep into the game and you pretty much uncovered the whole map and you're like trying to do side quests going here, those ferry stones are going to run out. And you use a ferry stone, go back to a city just to spend 10,000 gold to get another ferry stone so you can fast travel. It's not fun, and I feel like it takes away the enjoyment. I'm fairly certain that out of my 84 hours in the game, maybe 5 hours or more has been me annoyingly trying to get from point A to point B multiple times without using a ferry stone, even though I've explored that area where I've seen everything I wanted to see. And then they have the ox carts, and the ox carts are super cheap. They're either 100 or 200 gold, but there's like an 80, it feels like there's an 80 to a 90% chance that you get ambushed. So you take it, you get ambushed, and then there's also a chance that the ox cart's destroyed. So what are you going to do if the ox cart's destroyed? You basically have three options. You're either going to reload the save before you board the ox cart and try again. You're either going to ferry stone back to maybe where you came from, Vernworth or something, or you're just going to just suck it up and just be like, oh, I guess I'll just run for 10 minutes to get to the next city, because you're probably going to be in the middle of nowhere, and that's quite annoying. And then if you want to get to Vernworth to Batal without using a ferry stone, well, you're going to have to take 2 ox carts. You get ambushed twice. Now, the first few times that it happens, it's not a big deal, I think. Like, even for me, like in the first like 2 episodes, it happened to me. My ox carts were destroyed. I was like, what the heck is going on? Oh my god. But after like 10 times, I was just, no, this is stupid. This is not okay. I think the player should have the choice to be able to do that. If you want to play immersive and you want to walk everywhere and you don't want to use a ferry stone, then that's your choice. But if you want to fast travel to a place that you've already been to, then you should have that choice as well. I played Skyrim, and in Skyrim, they give you the option. Now, granted, I think they added it in maybe like a later edition of the game, but they have the survival mode where there is no fast travel. So if you want to play like that, you can play like that. So that's my biggest annoyance in the game. Another quality of life that this game could easily add would be the option to hide weapons when they're sheathed and hide helmets. Also, an option to hide helmets during cutscene. You know, a lot of games have that. This game just misses a lot of those things that other games have just added. So, for example, the weapons clip through clothes a lot. And one of the biggest things for me is, look at this. This clipping is so bad. This is terrible. Like, I can't play like this. I tried Fighter in New Game Plus, and I wanted to wear a cape, and I just couldn't do it. Like, this is so bad. This clipping is so bad. So, they should give the option to be able to hide the shield, hide the sword when it's sheathed so you don't see it, to stop this clipping problem. Also, during like the ending game cutscenes when I was a sorcerer, I had the witch's hat, and there was times where I couldn't even see my character's face because the witch's hat covers so much of the face. So it's like I couldn't see the facial animations or expressions, nothing. I feel like that's a big thing that you need with these big cutscenes. Give us the option to hide helmets during cutscenes. Also, another thing is the stamina system. It's like the same as the original Dragon's Dogma, which I had a problem with. It's like Itsuno just doesn't want to update with the times. So in the city, if you run in the city, it doesn't use stamina. Why? Why? It's a safe area? There's no monsters? But look, this is a safe area. There's no monsters here. But we're using stamina. So we're in this weird loop where we run, and then we have to stop running to get our stamina back, which I think it shouldn't be the case. Like, I think Elden Ring did it great. If no enemies are aggroed onto you, you have infinite stamina. And as soon as an enemy targets you, you start using stamina. To me, that's the perfect system. Because I don't want it to be real life where I am so unathletic and I get tired after 10 minutes of running. Look at this. In the city, run as much as I want. Bam, 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 bam. And then I step out here. What changes? Bam. No enemies are aggroed onto me. They should give us infinite stamina. It shouldn't be like in Dragon's Dogma where you're running and you're eating mushrooms. Mushrooms. Mushroom. It's like, what is the point of that? Just give us like a good stamina system. If enemies are not aggroed onto us, don't use stamina. If they are, use stamina. As simple as that. You would think they would have learned from Dragon's Dogma 1. And another thing that they copied from Dragon's Dogma 1 is not being able to have multiple saves, not have multiple characters, which is quite annoying because if you have in other games, after you play, I don't know, 60, 80, 100 hours with one character, you grow fond of that character. You don't want to lose that character. But if I want to start a new game, I'm going to lose this character. I'm going to lose this save. There's nothing I can do. Unless maybe if you're on PC, maybe you just you duplicate the save file, put it somewhere else or something, or maybe I don't know if you can do it on PlayStation. It's more complicated on PlayStation. I don't know if you can. I think you might be able to put the save file on a USB, or I think you could do a cloud save and maybe just stop auto upload, which I've done in other games. But it shouldn't be that complicated. Just let us create multiple saves. And this is just another thing that I have against Itsuno. I think his vision is so lacking and it's so outdated. The game released, and there was no way to start a new game after you made a new character. You couldn't do it. Like, what director thinks that's okay? That is unacceptable. That was Itsuno's vision, and the only reason they changed it was because there was an outcry. A lot of people were like, "Oh my god, you can't make a new game. You can't create a new character." And then they added it. They updated it. They patched it. What was Itsuno thinking? So, all in all, give us the option to make another character without losing this character. The only argument that I can hear somebody saying is, well, there's the main pawn, it's uploaded to the server. Well, I'm sure there are smart people that can figure out how to program that where maybe it's tied to the save. Whatever is your main save file, that's the pawn on the server, and then as soon as you switch to the other one, it changes them. I'm sure there are smart programmers that can find a way around this. So those are the biggest problems I have with Itsuno's vision and his lack of quality of life in the game. Now, there are some minor problems that I have in Dragon's Dogma 2 that I'm not going to blame Itsuno for. The first one I want to talk about is the pawns in a Rift Stone. I played Dragon's Dogma 1, and in Dragon's Dogma 1, when you're in this area, when you're in the Rift Stone, you can shoo away all the pawns. You can shoo them away. I think you just press it. You don't even have to talk to them. You can just hold the button, bam, shoo them away, and they walk away. Bam, bam, bam. And when you shoo them away, new pawns come. Now, why is this a big problem? It's a problem because right when you're starting off, it shows pawns that are multiple levels above you that cost rift crystals. And when you're starting off, you have no rift crystals. You have very little. So you're going to be spending 100, 200 rift crystals right from the beginning of the game, and you can't get rid of them. Now, in a grand rift stone, you can search for a pawn, so it's not a problem. But in the small rift stones, you can't search for pawns. So you are not able to filter out or get rid of the pawns that you have to pay a lot of rift crystals for. So why was this decided? Who decided this? Why is this different than Dragon's Dogma. I feel like it's a lot more aggressive in forcing you to try to use Rift Crystals. In the first game, I don't think I used any Rift Crystals to hire a pawn. I don't even remember that problem. I was always just shooing away. I was always shooing away people, pawns, just to get one that I liked the way they look. And I don't remember ever paying Rift Crystals. Let's go to a regular Rift Stone just to show it off. So let me use my favorite running skill in the whole game. Look at this. Oh man, this is such a good skill to use when you want to just cover a lot of distance in a short time.
Take the power of ice and turn it against our foes.
All right, here we are. Into the Rift Stone. All right, so if we take a look here, so these are all the Rift Stones you're going to find around the world. And when you're using this, usually it's because you need to use it. Now look at all this. 184, 117, 31, 396. Okay, 0. But maybe you don't want like this pawn, that vocation. There are so many. Look, 500. There are so many pawns that cost Rift Crystals, and there is no way to search pawns to limit them. You can't shoo them away. There's no way to shoo this pawn
Arisen.
away.
I knew you loved this world too much to...
So I think this was a terrible choice, and I think they're kind of pushing you to spend Rift Crystals. Another thing they changed from the original Dragon's Dogma was the skill slots. So I think like a class like Warrior is actually better, because I think the original Dragon's Dogma, they gave Warrior 3 skill slots, but in this game every class has 4, which is good for Warrior, but it doesn't feel good for some vocations, like the magic vocations. The original had 6 skill slots, I believe, for Sorcerer and Mage as well. So you have all these specific, spells for certain circumstances that you want, but you're not going to take that because you only have 4. So you're only going to use, maybe give me this lightning one, or give me this Meister skill, give me this freezing one, and you feel very limited in your arsenal of spells, which I would have liked to have more. And that leads to my problem with Warfare. I used Warfare a lot in my second playthrough in New Game Plus, because I wanted to have a staff where I can just easily switch to Levitate, because so many secret tokens felt like they're hard to get to without Levitate. But Warfare has its own problem, I think, because one skill slot is tied to rearmament. So you are basically losing one weapon skill just to be able to switch to another weapon. So now you're left with 3 weapon skills. So the reason you're using Warfare is because you want to have 2 or more weapons, 2 or more different vocations, and then you got to share that with them. I don't know. Like in my situation, it was okay because I put 3 warrior skills, and then I just had a staff just for Levitate. When I first acquired Warfare, I thought it was you switch a weapon and the weapon skills change to that vocations, so it would have the weapon skills that you put for that vocation. But I quickly found out that's not the case. And Warfare to me has more negatives than positives. First of all, you can't use Meister skills. Second of all, you're limited in the weapon skills that you choose. So you only have 3 for all the weapons you want to have. And then third, I think the stats of Warfare is not as good as that weapons vocation, the specialized vocation for that weapon. So you're using that weapon with lower stats and lower level growth. So when you level up, you're not getting as good stats as you would have if you were that class. Now I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. But I think that's the case. So to me, it just has more downsides, and it's only good if you want to have like one weapon and you just want to have another weapon just for a quick like levitate, or maybe you just want to have just a weapon for long range to hit annoying ass core harpies. For as beautiful as this world is, I feel like it doesn't do a good enough job rewarding exploration. I spent a lot of time uncovering the map, but one thing that I didn't really do is I didn't go into too many caves. There are caves everywhere, but I just feel like they're not rewarding enough. After I went into a few caves, okay, like wake stones, okay, fairy stones. Oh, I found a weapon. Oh, this weapon is weaker than the one I have. Most of the weapons and armor sets that you're going to get, you're just going to get from a merchant, from a vendor, which takes away the main purpose of exploring, to find new things that you can use. Like, Elden Ring was amazing. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and it feels rewarding when you're exploring the world. You find a new weapon, you're like, oh, this weapon looks badass, and you can't just buy these weapons from vendors. Well, maybe some, but not a lot of them. So you get this cool ass weapon, you're like, oh man, I want to try this. Even though I'm not leveled for it, I want to try this weapon. It looks so cool. Or a new armor set, or a new spell if you're a sorcerer in that game. It rewards exploration. This game just feels flat. You're wandering around and exploring. Okay, I found the Sphinx. I found Trisha up north. I found the Meister. I think it's not rewarding for exploration. The caves feel repetitive. They feel redundant. It's just this dark area. You put on your lantern, you walk around, maybe there's undead, and it leads to nothing. Now, some of them do have some decent rings, you know, or maybe like a cape or something. It's just not needed, because I think most of the stuff you can just get from a merchant. And then another thing that's quite sad is I feel like this game has no proper end game. You know, you get all the way to the end. You found your way into the Unmoored world, and you're like, wow. By the way, I love the Unmoored world. I think it was much cooler. It's a much cooler idea and execution than in Dragon's Dogma 1 after you defeat Grigori, and you get like sent back to like that destroyed kind of world or something with more enemies or different enemies. The skybox is different. In the Unmoored world, the freaking land is actually different. There's no water. You can go places that you couldn't go before. It's really cool. I really liked it. I just feel like they could have done more with it. And for the cool design of the Unmoored world, you're actually there for so little. And it gives you that logo, the Dragon's Dogma 2 logo, and you're like, what? So cool. And you're there for 3-4 hours. You do the quests, and then you get the ending. Look at that, Seeker's Token. And then you get to the end, you click a button, you're like, what boss am I gonna fight? There's no boss. It's just an interactive cutscene. So that was very depressing, I should say. I was hoping for a little bit more. But yeah, there's just, it doesn't feel like there's a proper end game. Nothing to work towards at the end. And you're just so over-leveled, basically, that nothing even matters. There's no UR dragon. There's no Everfall. There's nothing with like grinding, maybe RNG weapons like in Bitter Black Isle.
Now here's a surprise.
And then I didn't even touch on the performance of the game. I can't believe I went this long into my thoughts of the game and I didn't even touch performance. I guess I'm just so accepting of mediocrity now in 2024, and it's just terrible, man. Game developers these days are just, it feels like they're going backwards, and they're trying to go for ray tracing, better quality, adding like state-of-the-art NPCs, sacrificing game performance. This game, it does look beautiful in certain parts, but when you step into the city, oh my god, I wanna stab my eyes out of my head. There are multiple characters, NPCs, who just pop in right next to you, not in the distance, right in front of you. I think there's even a time where I was walking and an ox cart popped up on me or something like that, and it pushed me out of the way. I was like, what? How bad is your programming, your level of detail, your LODs, that this is such a problem? I don't think I've ever seen a game with this bad character pop-in ever. I don't understand like what they did. Are they not taking away all these houses, all these trees and rocks and grass while you're in the city? Why is it such a strain on the consoles or PC for these NPCs to be walking around? Do they not have level of details where you can like load them in the backgrounds at like, I don't know, 150 polygons? It's just, I don't know. I'm not a professional game developer, so I'm not saying like I know how to fix it. I'm just saying there has to be a way they could have done better with this, because it is terrible. Like this. You see, look at this. Now, sometimes when you're walking, you're just gonna have a person spawn right in front of you. Let's see how long until like there's a person that just pops up right next to us. Look right there. You see? This person just popped right in front of me. It breaks the immersion, and that's the biggest thing I hate about performance. Like FPS, okay, I expect 60 FPS. I am willing to accept 30 FPS, not happily. But when there's pop-in like this in front of you, this is just, oh my god, it's so ugly. Alright, so that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about in my thoughts video of Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, I might have been a little passionate when I was talking about some of the cons or some things that I found annoying in Dragon's Dogma 2, but I do want to emphasize that I enjoyed playing this game. I really did. I had a good time, and I was just upset because I saw the possibility of a masterpiece. It was there. I could almost reach it, reach up, grab it. It was just right there staring at me, and I don't know who did it. I don't know who dropped the ball. I don't know if it was Itsuno. I don't know if it was Capcom executives who tried to rush the game. I don't know. But all I know is that it's not the masterpiece that it could have been. So I'm really looking forward to some DLC. I want to see if they're going to continue Dragon's Dogma. I don't know. But I'm just upset because the potential was there for this to be a masterpiece. All in all, to me, this was a good, maybe an average, above average game, but I'm gonna, if I had to give this game a rating, I would give it an 8 out of 10. It's not perfect. It's obviously not perfect, and I would not trust anybody who says it's perfect, but it's also not as bad as I've also heard some people say. You know, when you're going on Reddit, sometimes you see a lot of negative Nancy's just talking terrible things about this game. It's not that bad as they're making it out to be, and a lot of people were like so anal about the microtransactions. It's not a big deal, at least for me. It's not very predatory, and they're all things you can get in the game. So I'm gonna stand by my decision, my opinion, that I think this is an 8 out of 10 game. And if some of the things that I said in the cons are a bigger deal to somebody else, then okay, maybe a 7 out of 10. But I do feel like this game floats anywhere between a 7 to an 8 out of 10. And with that, that is the end of my thoughts on Dragon's Dogma 2. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment if you want to agree with anything I said, maybe disagree respectfully. Everything here is in my honest opinion. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. I'm just telling you how I honestly feel. It's my opinion. So if you want to disagree, try to be respectful. I don't want to, you know, argue or fight with anybody. But yeah, I'm going to leave it off here. Thank you so much for watching. I got to go. See you next time. Bye-bye.